We in here. Folks, welcome or welcome back
Welcome
to
back.
Conversations Pod. We are your host, Ben.
And I'm Ryan.
And we hanging, man. We
Yeah.
hanging. We are well into, man, where is it February already?
Mm-hmm.
It's February.
Yeah. Almost.
Almost February.
Yeah.
And well, we live in America, and you know that there's a holiday every month and a half away from each other. So
You gotta make money.
Valentine's Day is the next holiday.
Saint Valentine, right? That motherfucker.
How the freak did that even like become a thing? I mean, I think we all know at this point, we live in a capitalistic consumerism society where we're trying to find a reason for people to go and spend money.
I think I read that it was made back in the day by like big department stores to sell something, right? And
Yes.
like they used that and it kind of just took off.
I almost feel Christmas is probably also
Same
kind
thing,
of a
probably.
product
Yeah.
of that.
They took a tradition,
Right.
and then they Americanized it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I hate it. Because to me, Valentine's. Okay, I can't say I hate it. When you have a girlfriend or you're in a relationship, it's like, oh yeah, we got to do the romantic thing, and it feels nice. But I hate it because I know it's like it in my head it's meaningless because like what is the actual? We're not celebrating an anniversary.
Yeah.
We're not celebrating like
a
birthday or even like a. Okay.
That's it.
Real holiday. When I say real holiday, it's like Thanksgiving's a real holiday.
Yeah.
I'll say Christmas is a real holiday, right? You
is, yeah.
like take the time to like remember something that's outside of you. But like literally Valentine's Day is like, oh, we're celebrating love. Like what? And then why do I have to go buy candies and flowers?
Isn't Christmas about love and
love of Jesus? Yes.
Yes, love of Jesus.
Yes.
But the commercial thing is that it's
But the
love
commercialism
and
is there's this
and
guy
shit.
named Santa Claus that all of a sudden brings
Santa
gifts.
Harabaji.
Santa Harabaji that brings gifts that we all know good and well. I don't think we have any kid listeners in the audience, but we all know good and well. It's the parents gotta buy those gifts to make their kids.
He's fake.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Christmas, in
Watch.
terms of
Thank you, watch it.
American culture, like consumerism and capitalistic America, Christmas is a lie.
Christmas is
Santa Claus does
we gonna
not
get
bring you
canceled?
gifts. You know what? If the 12-year-olds cancel us, I'm sorry, guys. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, Christmas is definitely it. And you know what? I just hate that. Like, it's not that I hate it, but I just like I feel bad when someone gives me a gift and I don't get them a gift, and I'm like, oh,
That's why I hate
man.
gifts.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You might be the only person, okay, outside of my brother, that still gets me a gift. And that's why I always feel obligated to only get two people gifts. It's my brother and you.
Bro.
But you also, I think we also stopped.
Yes,
we also
did.
kind of stopped,
And
which I'm not mad at.
You know, it's Vero. She's like, you gotta get him a gift, and I'm like,
No,
I don't.
Hey, okay, first of all,
the gift is friendship.
Don't throw it. This is before Vero.
That's true.
used
I'm
to get
a
me-
gift. That's
you
my
know what?
that's my
You know
love
what,
language.
Ryan?
That's my
You're
love
a
language.
freaking sweetheart. You, out of all my guy friends, that you might be the only one that really consistently gave me gifts, like Christmas and birthday.
That's my love. One of my love languages.
See, man, I didn't know that.
Not as much anymore, but before it was one of my huge love languages. Yeah,
And it's not anymore.
I think it's still gift giving. I still really enjoy it. Like,
So
when
is it so you express love through giving gifts?
Gifts, yeah.
Now, what about receiving? So, like, do you feel like you
Oh,
need to receive gifts in order for you to feel like, this person loves me?
I do love it. Like anyone does,
Okay,
right?
see.
Anyone does, but I think it's
What do you love more, receiving a gift or like, a word of encouragement or like a hug, or somebody like, hey, I know you really like, I know you really appreciate when like people clean up after stuff. So I just like cleaned up your office today.
I think quality time.
Quality time.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, quality time.
That's what you receive.
Yeah,
So
that's what I.
So
yeah.
as someone, what is quality time for you?
Just like, I mean, I think for you and I, like, we would work together throughout the dojo time, so I would see you a lot. So didn't want to hang out with you, but I wouldn't hang out with you as much.
We kind of didn't.
But we didn't during that time, right? Yeah. And like with my other friends, I always, we always make time to talk, talk on the phone. I try to keep up. And that was my problem. Like I had to invite so many people to my wedding because I keep in touch with so many people. And I didn't get to invite a person that I hang out with for the last 2 years almost every weekend because I'm still in touch with the friend from 12, 13 years ago that I talk to every week.
So when it comes to a wedding guest invite, how do you determine who gets an invite? Is it who you interact with most now?
I think,
or who you've had deepest relationships throughout history.
And I think this is good for you in the future for you to have this as
I'm
reference.
Not married. Yes.
The way I did it was I still keep in touch with so many people, and it's really just like there's people that have been cemented no matter what. I haven't talked to you in a couple of years, but you're in. You're gonna be there no matter what. Like there are people like that.
Is there a threshold for that? Like I had to have known you for at least 10 years?
No, I don't think so. Because there were people that we invited that I knew for maybe a couple of years. It's just more of like I saw them more consistently versus, and then so that's the thing. But the thing is that the people who I knew longer always won. So like there was people that I would hang out with all the time and see them almost every weekend. And I literally had to tell them like, sorry, we can't invite you because and that was like, even with your brother, I was even, because we were tripping out, like, because we had to reduce it a lot. And her and I, we know a lot of people.
Right.
So when I said to you, like, I can't invite your brother because, and that was a big mistake. Like after he approached me and he really laid it out for me. And I was like, dang, you're right, dude.
Wait, Steve, he approached you about it?
Well, he like hit me up. I think he was like, yo, like, what's up with that, man? Like, you're my brother's best friend. And like, I look at you as like a brother and this and that. And it wasn't that I didn't think of them like that. It was just there was somebody else on the list that
I get it, yeah.
Man. But I'm glad I did because at the end of the day, like, of course, your brother is someone that is a day one to me too, and it was really, it's just, you start thinking about like, oh, who to do and who to not invite. And man, it was a really stressful time. So good luck with that.
I can imagine. That almost makes me not want to have a wedding, dude, to be honest.
You know what, dude? Honestly, after the pandemic, you could probably get away without doing it, man.
I knew a lot of homies that got away with eloping. No one got mad.
Yeah.
And they all saved a good pretty penny on those marriages.
Especially if you're going to use that money to something good. Like,
for sure.
We could have, not to say that we didn't have a blast. I had a blast. Every time I see anybody on the street that came to our wedding, the first thing they say was how much fun they had and how the food was great and this and that. So it's a good feeling.
Dude, you had In-N-Out, bro.
And King Taco.
King Taco.
Yeah.
That was the most efficient way to like cater food.
I think the way, in honesty, it was good because it just rolled out well. Like nobody was waiting that long. People weren't hungry. Like people weren't angry. So yeah. I've seen food cart weddings that like were disastrous. So it's like,
no, that was
good. We're lucky, And after like seeing them and then them telling me that was like, okay, that's what made it worth it. So what I would suggest to you is do your own ceremony if you ever get to that point, right? Do your own ceremony, and then
do the party,
and then do a reception on like a Friday night. You know what I mean? Like
that's probably what I might do, bro, if I get there.
Yeah.
If I get there, but yeah,
I see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're all talking about freaking Valentine's, man. I mean. It all starts with the couple. You got to be a couple before you're going to celebrate a Valentine's. Mm-hmm. And, shoot. I will say COVID was a very interesting time to be single. I'll tell you that.
I bet.
Dating apps were probably, like, through the roof in terms of kind of the only way people thought they could even have the opportunity to meet somebody. And meeting, like, exactly, I'm going to use my air quotes. Like meeting means I'm gonna FaceTime this person. Mm-hmm. We don't actually get to go anywhere.
I like that. I think it develops more like a better.
Okay, so I'll say a couple things to that. In one way, yes, it's better because it's like, oh, okay, no pressure. It's way more cost efficient. You don't need to go out on a freaking dinner date or even a coffee date. It's just, hey, we're all locked in at home anyway. Let's just talk. Let's have a conversation.
It's the best.
Which is great because it's like, yeah, there's a lot of pressures of like whatever, right?
Everything, yeah. All the pressures of dating.
It's literally, I'm getting to know you through conversation, and that's it.
But there was nothing after that too.
Nothing after that. But here's what I say is the negative side to that. I'm a big fan of interacting with people in person, and I'm not talking about just dates.
Yeah.
Like I was hosting a podcast.
So yours is quality time too, then, or
yeah, but it's a little bit deeper than that. I'm more of like a physical touch, words of affirmation guy.
Yeah.
But like when I say physical touch, I think that even translates into in-person interactions. That doesn't mean like we're like freaking holding hands the whole time, right? But like the
just
ability,
face to face,
the ability to read body language and like feel someone's energy. You can only do so much of that through a screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you give me a facial expression. I'm like, okay. But like a facial expression through a device is different than when you're in person.
Of course.
Because then you get to see little nuances of like how they're sitting and like, are they drawing closer to you? Are they like pulling away from you? Because when someone's actually in the room with you, they act differently than when they're on a screen.
For sure.
So to me, I'm like, it's not a real date, but I'm like, yeah, cool, we're talking, you know. So I had a handful of FaceTime dates over COVID. Some, you know what, I'm not gonna lie, like there was a couple that like lasted a bit. I'm like, this is like my 4th FaceTime date with this person. And, you know, they live in, like, Maryland. And I'm like, what am I talking about? Why am I talking to a chick in Maryland right now?
You had a really big radius.
No, so that one, I'm not going to name any names.
The whole United States.
No, I didn't do that. My search radius was like, yo, you got to be within 50 miles of me or otherwise it's not even an option. That's my search preferences. But the way that these dating apps work, or at least I think this was Hinge. They get, so if there's a girl, she gets to put her radius as much as she wants. So like she could be like, yo, the whole United States. So like so I popped up on her feed apparently, and then she liked me first. So I'm like, oh, this girl's cute. Like, who is she? And then I look at her profile, like Baltimore, Maryland. I'm like, what the freak? Like, but I'm like, well, she's cute. She has some, you know, things in her bio that I find interesting. So I at least wanted to entertain the hello, what's up? Who are you? Why are you hitting me up? You live in Baltimore. I'm in California. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I'm actually looking for work out in California. And so I was like, okay, so you might move out here. All right, that's cool. But still, you know, long story short, it didn't work out. But it was something, I mean, I guess it was like now I'm wondering, like, was it just fun because we're all locked in? It's like, oh, this is fun. What else do I got to do right now than entertain this right now?
If I was single during that time, I think I would have. I like being alone. I don't mind being alone. I don't really feed off of energy of others because I can just feed off of my own silliness and I can enjoy it. So like, I think if I was dating, I think I would have really enjoyed doing the Zoom stuff because I feel like I do that anyways. Like when I first dated a girl, when I would first go on a date with a girl, I would talk to them for like at least 2 weeks before I go
on the phone before going out on a date.
Yeah, before going on a date, and because the reason why.
Okay, well, how old were you at this time? Were you in high school?
No. We didn't.
High school. I mean, of course, we're broke. We don't have cars. We can't do anything.
I didn't date. I just found a girlfriend, and you just had a girlfriend for a certain period of time. Like you don't date when you're in high school because. I don't know.
All right, so what if you're dating as a young adult who has a job, has a car? Like, are you still just talking on the phone? No,
well, I do it to lay out the groundwork because the way I see it is my personality is a lot better than my face initially, okay? I know what's up, you know, my jokes, and I'm more witty, I'm funnier. So I'm like, I'm going to let this girl get to know me, that I'm a funny person first before then she can apply it to well, I mean, obviously when they first match with you, they're like, oh, she's cute. But even for that, I'm still very like, and maybe, I mean, I think I heard.
Did you ever do the dating app thing?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What app were you on?
Dude, I was on Tinder. I was on Coffee Meets Bagel.
So yeah, that was
I was on one. Farmer Meets. Christian Mingle.
Meet the farmer's daughter or something?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's dope. Like, no, marryafarmer.com or something like that. It was like.
Something.
It was funny.
I know it was like something about farmers' daughters or something.
Yeah, so I was on it when it was early on, and it was where you couldn't just pay for something or actually buy a girl or like, you know, use your beans.
You can't buy girls. Girls aren't for sale. Okay. Girls aren't for sale, right?
Okay, you know what I mean. I'm talking about like sending your beans. Oh man, that sounds bad too. Um,
Girls don't want your beans.
yeah, yeah.
They don't want
Sending
your
your beans to get their like profile or
beans. You
whatever.
mean redeem the beans that you get daily from the app
Yes,
to
yes,
get more options to
yes,
like more
yes,
girls on the
exactly.
app?
That one, exactly.
That's the one.
That, yes, that one. We had that. I think we did have the option where you could purchase more beans.
You could.
And then you could use those beans to
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So
the beans work as like currency. Like it's like I got coins.
Yeah.
Like beans are coins. Like yeah.
see,
It's the term beans that makes it sound weird and sexual and
like,
all that. But like
I bought you with my beans.
Yeah, I don't get my beans are not attractive to you.
It was very short lived. I actually dated a girl for a couple years or a year or two from that app, from Tinder.
Oh, okay.
That turned out disastrous. We don't need to talk about it, but I had a stint on it and it was chill. But I don't know about now. I don't think I could last in this dating world, let alone take a girl out or find a girl to go like right now. Being single must be like sucky for dudes, because
What are you trying to say, bro?
you're not single,
I'm not married.
but you're not single.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not.
Dude, it must be tough, man.
But this is of recently. So like, this is a recent.
Yeah, I feel
thing.
bad for you for a long time, bro.
I didn't feel bad for me. I actually had a great time. And you know me, bro. When I say I had a great time, I'm not just out gallivanting with
banging,
no,
banging,
but like
slinging tail.
You didn't sling tail. I did not. But what I found for myself to be like the most fulfilling way to enjoy singleness in COVID was like find what I really wanted to do for myself. And I know that sounds like, oh, okay, fine, dude. You went to find yourself, da da da. No, for real. I picked up like long distance running because the gyms were closed. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna start running. I ran a freaking half marathon for the first time, and then I did a lot of just like stuff outdoors, just being by myself. I figured out how to make a home gym because my all the gyms were closed, and then I was even like experimenting even like what kind of content I would put out on social media because I would say we still live in an age where people feel like, oh man, I gotta make stuff that's like dope for likes and whatever.
True.
But I feel like during that first year or so of COVID, people started getting experimental. Bro, I was like uploading me doing 100 push-ups.
Yeah.
Doing push-up contests.
Oh,
because everybody was like, yo, we're locked in at home. Let's do these things. And I'm like, it was fine. So I was like, man, you know what? Like, why are we so putting all kinds of pressure on ourselves to like represent ourselves in a way where it's like, yo, we're all just human. We're all locked in this thing. Let's figure out a way to just keep ourselves entertained and inspired. And so I just found myself like, man, it's like, I'm just going to go do me. You know what I mean? So in a lot of ways, I think singleness during COVID gave me a lot of time for me to just focus on like, family, myself, checking in on friends. And like, and I'm not gonna lie, I was still trying to date.
Yeah.
I was still on the apps and all that, and I was connecting here and there. But like,
you didn't meet up with any of them?
No. Well, not at the height of the stuff. Like when once restrictions kind of lowered and they're like, okay, outdoor dining's open, but you got to wear a mask and all that. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. I'll abide by those things. Like, oh, you can, you have to wear a mask into the restaurant, but once you're there, you got to take it off, which is, you know what I mean? Or sorry. Lame.
Oh, beep.
Yeah, that we can't say that. Stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, what are these rules? But like, once that stuff, and I would say that was more in like 2021, because I would say like, man, like because we got locked down with March of 2020.
March of 2020. March 26th or 27th? I remember. Yeah.
And that was like a good lockdown for like at least. What, 3 months, 4 months, where there was like you could not go anywhere.
I feel like the first real lockdown, it was like they were like, and it was in conjunction with the George Floyd protest as well. Right. So they were like shutting everything down at curfews. 5. Yeah, there was a curfew. I was ecstatic to go home at 5 p.m. I was like, hell yeah, because I was in Studio City and not much crazy. I heard some crazy stuff coming down from Sherman Oaks, but. Yeah, I was happy to go home early.
But that in my lifetime was the second time I experienced a curfew lockdown. The first time was during the '92 riots.
Oh,
There was a 5 p.m. curfew lockdown then, and
where were you at though?
I was in Northridge.
Oh.
So I mean, I'm in the valley, but there's still, like LA's like 25 minutes away, but like all that stuff still transferred over to the valley.
Down? I didn't remember that.
I remember that was like 5 p.m. curfew. Nobody can be out on the streets after 5 p.m.
But in Northridge? That's crazy.
But I'm also like 10 years old, bro. I'm a 10, 11, so I'm not even trying to like see like, can I go out? I'm like, I'm just gonna go home, right? But like ever since then, I had never experienced a curfew lockdown. And then when we hit COVID and it's not that I was trying to test those limits, but there was times, I mean, bro, like we were still trying to maintain our business through that, but we were trying to do it safely. We still had the complex at the time, and I was doing the Kinja's podcast via Zoom, and I would go to the complex by myself. No one else was there. And sometimes, the podcast would go like after 5 p.m. So sometimes I drive home at like 8 p.m. I'm like, oh, frig. Like, I hope they don't try to catch me riding dirty right now because I'm out past I'm out past curfew. Thankfully, nothing happened. But like those were some times I'm like, I don't know what a strict curfew lockdown looks like. Are they looking for just any car on the streets and do you automatically get a ticket or something? Like, I didn't know. I mean, thankfully nothing happened. But like those are some wild times. But like, going back to what we were saying, circling back to everything that we're saying, like about dating and all that. Yeah. I did have a couple of like month-ish
flings.
Yeah, just over FaceTime though, which was interesting. And I asked myself, I'm like, damn, like what if we didn't do that over FaceTime, and what if we actually met up for like a meal? Like, would those interactions been different? Like, would we have gotten like to a different place? Where we would have like understood each other a little bit better, but I think it was a little bit more judgmental on the screen.
Maybe
it's like, you're not impressing me right now. I'm not impressed by what you said. I'm not impressed by how you look, or I'm just something. It's just like way more judgmental.
And I think what you said earlier in being in person, being face to face. Like, I feel like if I was meeting a person through the Zoom like that, it'd almost feel like an interview. Right?
Oh,
like
it's 100% like 100%.
Interview. So it's like the humanity of it, like the realness of it is just kind of taken out, and I could see that. Like, I didn't even like Zooming with my friends to do like the group drinking nights. Like,
dude, those are my favorites.
I was like,
also just because I was like,
and I got so lit on those nights, dude. I'm like, man. Like, this is a Tuesday, dude. I can't be doing this on a Tuesday.
Imagine if you didn't have to go to UPS the next day. Would that have been different?
Probably, yeah, for sure.
You would have enjoyed it. You were like, yeah, you know what? Let's just stay up and drink.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that time, but I think my marriage and my life would have been horrible because it wouldn't have been, if both of us were not working, I think it would have been bad, for sure.
Well, that goes back to you not being single.
Yeah.
So you being married during COVID. Okay, so let's take it off the single folks here. COVID 2020. You and Vero got married when? 2018? 19?
We got 2019.
2019. Wow. So that was a year into marriage then when COVID hit.
When COVID hit. We moved. We were in our living together for a year, but we came back from our honeymoon in January, and then COVID started. Okay. Literally the day we arrived, it was like they shut down the borders.
After you got back from your honeymoon?
From our honeymoon, yeah.
Okay. So
from Asia.
That's
we were
interesting.
There too.
So you guys came back hot off of just like, boom, we're in love. Boom, we shut down. We're in love. Boom, now we're shut down.
We fought twice on our honeymoon. So I don't...
Okay, that happens.
But it was because
how was navigating through COVID as a newlywed couple hot off of a honeymoon?
I definitely had to be on point for everything. I had to be on point for the Valentine's Day, even more because we were lockdown.
So you got to figure out how to be romantic. You got to figure out my flowers, my chocolates, and my dinner.
Inside the box, around the box, like be the box. I had to do everything. So it was just it was and our anniversary.
What was your first COVID Valentine's? Like, what'd you do? You forgot?
I forgot. Okay, look.
It's not a good sign.
I know I got some roses. I probably got some roses.
Probably.
because it was before the first, right when the first 2020 things were open, so I got some roses and things like
All
that.
right, yeah, we didn't get
Yeah.
locked down until March, so February things were still wide open.
And then I feel like the year after we.
Oh, okay. So what we're trying to look at is 2021 Valentine's
Yeah.
then, because 2020 Valentine's was
still
pre
good.
lockdown.
Yeah,
All right.
it was still good.
So 2021 Valentine's.
Yeah, 2021. It was. I think Vero and I we weren't been married. We've been together for. I mean, it's not that long, but we.
And
like
you guys are
6,
still
7
living
years.
in the downtown place. You guys were.
We were in downtown.
Okay,
Yeah, that time.
the other spot.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's just we don't really we don't really do anything for Valentine's. I mean, I might get in trouble for this because she's like, if she hears it, she's like, motherfucker, no, that's not what I want. But
Are you telling me that you didn't do something for Valentine's, or you just don't remember what you did for Valentine's?
I don't remember. I think it's all in the, getting a restaurant and flowers and stuff.
I'm sure we ate.
I'm sure we
ate something.
I gave her food. She had something to
I'm
wash it
sure
down with.
we ate something.
Like-
we looked at something, and then we said, "I love you."
But
and
so this
something.
year is great because we're actually going. Oh no, we were going to Mexico the week after Valentine's Day, but she was like, "I want you to do something nice for me this year." So I was like, "All right, Mexico," but I guess Mexico is not enough. So we'll see, man. I'm it's blank up here. I don't know what to do. I'm like,
all right, we'll talk about this offline. Hey, listeners and viewers, if you guys have any suggestions for Ryan and Vero for Valentine's 2023,
nah.
feel free to drop it in the comments.
Well, what are you gonna? Oh, you can't say what you're gonna do, but
man, that one's tough.
Well, this is gonna be your first
it's
Valentine's
my first. It's gonna be my first. I am in a fairly new dating relationship.
This is when it's fun, when you guys
Not even a year old yet, so
like go out to dinner, do the Valentine's things, and you might even get laid. There's no laid. For
hey,
me.
but when you're at the pre 1 year mark, I mean, I might get canceled for this now. I'm like, let's save the really good stuff for later. It's like, yo, this is our first year, you know what I mean, of getting to know each other. Like, yeah, let's go eat something. Wash it down with something,
bro.
and smile about something,
Start small, okay?
And
bro. Then you get better and better.
That's
right?
my.
You don't want to start
plan.
out with a Ferrari, then you're gonna expect a Ferrari every single time.
Exactly,
You can't get a
bro.
Ferrari a single time.
Exactly.
Ferraris.
Exactly. I mean, there's Ferrari, Hot Wheels Ferraris.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that idea.
Like, it's still Ferrari. It's just, let's start small. And I already know I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for this, but here we are.
You know
man.
what's good?
We're talking.
Initial first, cook something. Home.
I got a
No
couple,
bottle of wine,
up the sleeve. I don't got sleeves today, but I got some little cookie things up the sleeves. I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then might go look at something fun and that makes us smile. I don't know.
Well, you bet. I think this is the only time that she'll be nice about it. She'll be understanding if you're just kind of
suck.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say suck. You just kind of fall short. You know what I mean? So the first one's gotta be okay. I get it. The first one gotta be extravagant. The first one gotta be extravagant.
What was your first one with Vero then? Was it extravagant? Like, what did you guys do?
Yeah, I got I got a tomahawk steak.
Where? You cooked? Oh,
I
you cooked it?
I cooked the tomahawk steak.
You cooked the tomahawk steak.
Cooked the tomahawk, and then actually no, that was our second Valentine's Day. The first one.
Did you start off with the micro machine Hot Wheels Ferrari, or what did you do?
I want to say that I started off something small because I don't remember what I did. I just remember what I did.
You went to freaking movies and a pizza.
Oh, you know what I think I did? I think I did a cheap. I got like candies and like actually I don't want to say it because if it's not her, then I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. If it's like you didn't do that for me, mother freaker, So I'm not gonna say what I did.
I'm trying to get you in trouble. I'm just.
But I did cook for her when I was saving for a ring. I did.
See, that's
cook
sweet
at home.
and cute, bro.
Yeah,
that is sweet and cute because there's like a freaking intention behind.
Yeah, and I spent $50, whereas at the restaurant I would have spent $150, $200. So I was saving for a ring. I'm like, what do you want? You want something nice or?
You know, it'd have been like hella sick. Like, look, babe, this is $50 steak, and if we went to the restaurant, this would have been $152 steak.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I did with that other $100? Look, babe, check out this account. This is our wedding fund account. That went into our wedding fund.
That's smart.
Dude.
That's smart.
Is that whack?
No, that's great because if you break up, then you have some money.
Exactly.
You have some saved
Smart.
money on the side. So
Exactly. Put that into your Acorn account
hey,
or whatever the freak.
yeah, that's not bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's put that. Stamp it down.
I feel like all the ladies that are watching and listening are tuning out. Please don't unsubscribe. We're not.
Ladies, we're teaching how
that.
to get your guys to propose to you. Okay, so like that's what we're teaching.
We
them,
do
man.
need to get some ladies up in this pod, though, man.
Yeah,
We got to
let's
get
do
the
it.
female perspective, though, too.
We'll definitely get Vero because she'll just
Oh, we got for
crush
sure
me.
got to give Arrow. Well, all right. So we're talking about your current. Let's talk about like we all have had nightmare, worst Valentine's dating stories. That's always fun to get into. What was, if you've had one? I'm not saying you have to have one. If you've had one, was there ever like a worst case like Valentine? It doesn't have to be Valentine's. I think we're just talking. We're just saying Valentine's because it's coming up. But like dating experience or situation that you've been in where you're like, man, that was something that I wish had never happened, or I wish I could, erase that one.
Do you? I feel like you might have more because
I do.
I'm more of a serial dater. I go through like couple, and then if I find a girl that I'm like, oh, I vibe with her, I'll give it a chance, and we date for like 2 years, and then we break up horribly, and that's the process.
Okay, you want to make me go first? All right, I'll say for me, I'm not a serial dater. I didn't have a girlfriend until college. And even at that, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, and so I'll say, I think, I'm not going to name any names. Once I felt like girls actually paid attention to me, which was a new thing, because I was like, this chubby whatever kid throughout my entire life up until about the
You're
age
the
of,
ugly duckling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Until I was like 21. Yeah, I think I was like 21. I was, okay, let me go back and get a little bit further. Let's say 19.
Okay.
Age 19, I'm like fresh out of like high school, barely getting into college, still a chubby kid. I just started dancing, and there was a girl that I don't think I was attracted to, but because she was giving me a lot of attention, I was attracted to the attention because it was just new. I was like, I never gotten this from anyone. If someone likes me, like, this feels nice. But I knew that I just wasn't into her. I mean, well, I know that now, but I think I was into the fact that she was into me.
You're into the fact,
Yeah, not that I was into her.
Yeah.
But, I'm a freaking kid who doesn't know anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this feels like. And I feel bad. Like, I said things to her that was all like romantic.
Oh.
Like, oh, I really like you. And like, I could totally see us together. Like, I'm just making up words now, but like I was putting out that energy.
In junior high. We could be
I'm not junior high. I'm in college.
Sorry.
But mind you,
Yeah.
I'm a kid who like never experienced anything. Like I had no girls even ever like me, not on a serious level. I had like whatever in middle school,
crushes,
but like this is the first time where I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm, ready to date or whatever. So I thought, and this girl was like giving me a lot of attention where I was like, wow, I think this girl likes me and this feels nice. And I think I'm just into the fact that she likes me.
Do I know this?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to say
Sure,
any names
okay,
here.
yeah.
And things didn't work out. And, I think I ended up hurting her. I don't even really know how. Dude, I probably didn't even end it. I probably just stopped talking to her. You know what I'm saying? Like me being stupid, I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna stop.
Fizzled out.
Just gonna stop talking to her, and that was it. And like, I know that might sound boring, but that was like legit. My, I feel really bad about that. Like, if I were to go back in time right now and talk to my old self, like, yo, man, be a man. And be like respectful and just at least talk to her and tell her like, hey, like, this is how you felt and this is how you feel, and you'd like to be friends, but if not, it's okay. But like, you know, like this is probably gonna be the end of us kind of hanging out and things like at least so there's clarity.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, that might not be juicy, but
that was
actually
really
what came
like
to
wholesome,
mind.
and you're so
Yeah,
like
I don't know, dude.
you're such a good
not,
guy.
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a good guy, but that's what comes up.
So that was that's just the worst thing that you think of
when I think about like dating,
and
because
the
ever
worst
since
scenarios.
then, I mean, nah, you know, there's some other stuff, but we're not gonna talk about that in this pod. There's some other stuff, but maybe we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
But outside of that, this was probably the first time where I was like, yeah, I probably could have handled that one better. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, dang, that's like you're like thinking, you're like, you know, thinking about yourself and what you did, and you're like going back to like really reflect on it. Like that's completely different from my story, because
you know me, bro. I'm therapy guy.
Yeah,
dude. I'm all about therapy every time.
Well, let me tell you about my worst.
Let's go to your worst, bro.
And this is why I stopped using Tinder, because
that's the name of this episode, by the way. This is
why
I stopped using Tinder.
it was
a good episode hook.
It was so the thing about I don't like about dating apps is that the pictures that you see are the best photos of you, right? Of them, of you. Me too. I'm guilty of it, and it's like. So I met this girl. She was she's very pretty, you know, very nice, very sweet, smart, had a great job, you know, and but she was like, I don't want to, I might get, and I want to say this, okay, like
you're so scared right now, dude.
Just because I don't want to offend anyone. She was mainland China, like she was a very she's Chinese fob. From China, like not Taiwanese or like, you know, that kind of. She was like straight from China. Like Bob came here when she was younger. Like so when I found out
this girl.
No, you never met her. I didn't know anybody. Right, no, okay. And so and you know, she was really cool, but she had a really thick Chinese accent. Okay, like not Mandarin where it's like flowy. It's very sharp, right? Yeah. Cantonese or whatever. Okay. Personally, that's not my thing, you know. But I had a great conversation through text, and this is where I mess up sometimes when I do 2 weeks of text. I'm like, oh man, your English, you know, like English is so good.
Your texting English is immaculate.
Your grammar is amazing. And then when like I meet the person, like the grammar was like, what did you use like Google to help you or like? Anyways,
you never know.
So she was really sweet and nice, but like number one, I pick her up, and she's taller than me. And I'm 5'10", 5'11", so she's like 6 foot. She's on flats.
Is that a turnoff?
You know, it wouldn't have been a turnoff if.
Wait, you met her on a dating app?
Yeah.
She didn't have her height in the thing in her profile.
She said she's 5'11". I'm like, you are not 5'11". Like you're, like teetering on the 6.
You're like 5'13".
You're like 5'14", like straight up, okay. And then. You know, like we're joking around. She's cool. Like I like the vibe of her to being like, yeah, it's like kind of aggressive. We go eat Thai food, and like I'm like, all right. While I'm eating Thai food, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see where this is gonna go. If it goes bad, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to a movie. If it's good, then we're gonna go to a bar and like hang out and talk more. While we're talking, she's like, I mean, I don't care. Like if we're married, like it's fine, but. You know, you got to be on your best behavior, right? She's like chewing with her mouth open. No, like just very like we've known each other for 20 years, you know.
She farted in front of you. She farted
in
front of you.
No, she didn't fart, but she kept on. So after the Thai food, and you know, it's my fault for ordering the fish sauce wings. You know what I mean?
Garlic burping in your face.
Not even. She was just like she was driving to the movie, and she's like, and then the window would just go down a little bit, and I'm like, what is she doing? And she'd be like. She'd burp and go.
Okay, well, at least she had the courtesy to blow it out the window.
Hey, look, that's great. Silent but violent. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I would rather have you be like, this is bad.
Dude.
Stick your window out the window and blow it out the window. Okay. Great.
But like, okay. I get that.
Do I sound like an asshole right now? No, you're not on my side?
No. I'm not saying anybody's a bad anything. But at least she's like, yo, I gotta let this gas out. I'm gonna crack the window open, and let it out.
Sure, but she wasn't like, oh yeah, she's like, I got gas. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm so like gas. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. She was just like, okay, sorry, it wasn't like nice.
Oh,
like,
okay.
it
So
was like,
you interpreted that as like, if you're doing this on date one, what's happening
Oh.
a year into this?
oh, I'm just
Is that
like,
what you're
how long
thinking?
is this movie? I picked the shortest movie that was on the
It's like,
on the.
do you
the-
have something that just shows trailers?
Yeah.
And then...
Dude,
You're
I
going to
straight
hell,
up
dude.
watched
You're
the
going to
movie. I
hell.
don't even remember what movie it was. It was such a bad movie. It was a quick 1 hour, 45-minute movie.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
And you know
still.
what? Yeah, but I feel like she was like talking to me
During
and I
the
was-
movie?
Yeah, and I was already checked out because that's the last straw for me, man. Like I don't even like it when Vero talks to me when the movie. I'm like, save your questions to the end, and we'll discuss this after. But
Wait, you went to a movie on date one?
I told you, I was like, we're sitting. I'm like, I'm gonna see how this goes.
Ah.
If it goes bad, I can't. It's 8:00. I can't take her home at 8:00. So I was like, I picked her up at 7:30, like 7,
No,
like 7
legit.
o'clock.
All you gotta do is walk to your local park, do a lap, and it's done. You don't
Like
gotta
walk?
go to a movie. Yeah, walk around the park.
Yeah. You're right.
You'll be over that in 30 minutes. You don't.
I didn't want to look up while I was talking to her. Like it's not a good feeling, you know. Like when
So you drop more money to sit and torture yourself for an hour 45. While have you burping like
it was a
fish
great
sauce
movie.
into your face.
I just don't remember it. And it was. I feel bad though because we vibed really well, but it was just like I think.
All right,
I'm
so-
not a big accent guy. Okay,
Okay, so-
I don't like accents. I'm sorry. I'm
But you have an accent.
American accent.
But you have an accent.
Sure. I mean,
What if like a Chinese girl, you go to China, and you drop in, you're like, I'm gonna live here for a year.
first of all, you used a bad example, and I'd be like, hey, fine. I'm sorry. Like
Let's say you move to China, you're there forever, you can't go anywhere else, you're living in China, so you're thinking, man, all right, I'm living here, I want to get married though. Looks like Chinese girls are the only option, and they look to you as like, too American, too much facial hair,
that's fine.
too much cologne, whatever the thing, and they're like, your accent's a little weird, I don't understand you, and you start feeling that.
All right. I'm a horrible person.
I'm not saying you're a horrible person. I'm trying to put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah, I get it. I'm whoever does that. Like I'm just talking about like.
But I get it, man.
Yeah.
You know what? You're entitled to like whatever accent you want to like or not like. I'm not trying to make you feel
No, but
bad
you know
about
what?
that.
You know what? That during that time though, I'll tell you this. I've been more accustomed to it now. Like it doesn't affect me as much as it used to. Like especially at being within Kinjas, like I'm really like I even for like really thick Vietnamese accent, like before, I would kind of giggle, like I kind of giggle.
Who got us thick?
No, I'm just saying. So we have a dad that kind of has a thick accent, right? A thick Asian accent. And don't say any names, okay? Just okay?
Oh my
all right?
God.
And so the first time I heard him talk and he was talking to all of us, I was like giggling by myself in the corner. I was like, oh shit. No, everyone was like serious, like listening to him. And that's when I realized, Ryan,
It's like,
there's
that's when they
something wrong
realize,
with you.
damn, I'm racist,
No,
bro.
I was really like, dude, there's something wrong with you. And that's really like what I wouldn't say desensitized, but it made me realize like, it's not a caricature. It's not, like it's.
You might be racist, bro.
Look,
It's
I
okay,
love
dude.
everyone.
I still love you, bro.
It's. Look, man, like that, especially Asian accents can get really funny if the person who's doing it, like the comedian like does it.
I
like,
get
it's
it. Okay,
funny. It's hilarious.
if it's meant for comedy, I get it. Like, bro, I get it. We all get it.
Yeah, like F1, like that thing that's on all the reels, like F1, like.
I don't even know what that is, bro. I don't follow that.
Like there's those like Vietnamese guys like talking about how like oh you got the Air Force One, so they're like, oh, that's Air Force One, like they're like doing it, and like I hear like, when I do it in front of my Vietnamese friends, they all join in, and then like it's fun, so
if it's for comedy, like for Asian people, I get it. There's a place for that, but when you're laughing at like someone's parents,
no.
that's
listen.
a little messed up, bro.
Listen. It was only once, and it was just I only hung out with like Koreans like most of my life. So,
Okay, what if like your white homie like met your dad?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your dad English is probably pretty solid.
It's pretty good, yeah.
But like, let's just go to the most stereotypical Asian Korean. The freaking video you sent me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Yeah.
Stop, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Like, dude, I was dying. And I know it's funny because it's meant to be a joke.
Yeah.
But then sometimes,
a
lot of times, when people actually talk like that,
it just was always in a joking context when I see that. So when it was like it was an involuntary response. Like I wasn't trying to giggle.
Yeah.
It just like busted out, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's when I realized, no, you can't laugh about this kind of stuff because number one is wrong, and it's just I wasn't used to it. But shout out to that parent. I love him so much, and he's a great guy. So like it was just first time I just got a little thrown off. So it was just,
Well. That's also a thing. I think like we've gone through a freaking crazy time of COVID. I think that's affected like dating culture as well as like marriages, right? Like you guys have been married for 3 years now?
3 years.
Going on 4 years?
Going on our 4th year, yeah.
And I did find a relationship through all that, and I the dating app stuff did work out for me, and then I'm still
It's a numbers game. I feel like
it's a numbers game,
like,
and
I wasn't in it long enough to, and I think I should have. I feel like when I was doing the dating apps, I should have been a little bit more of a like weeding them out or like being a harder critic. I think I gave a lot more chances, even though there was a lot of red flags. So that's why one of my relationships was bad from Tinder. So
okay, so that's another thing though. How do you identify a red flag from like let's say yellow flag?
Honestly, man, I don't know, dude. Like,
is it something you just feel in your gut?
I think it takes a lot of courage to like know yourself, to be like, oh, this is what I dealt with before, and this is not what I want to be with right now. So being able to just identifying it and cutting it. Like that's the hardest part. You see the red flags, but you don't do anything about it because like, and then the ones that do see the red flags, they're the ones that are like, oh, you're not giving enough chance. Like you see like your red flags are a little bit on more high alert than most average guys, right? So that's why when I'm like, oh, like giving you a hard time about it, I only give you a hard time to give you a hard time. But at the end of the day, like I know the way you are doing it is you're going through, you want the quality girl, like a real good quality, like rather than just a little quality, but some bad here. And I'm thinking, because everyone
bad, bro. I'm done with the bad, bro.
But everyone has bad, right? Like everyone has bad, but I think definitely when you say like, okay, I have your guard, like placements or like place guard, whatever those called, like where you're like, okay, if they don't hit this, then I don't even let them get to the next step. I think that's a good thing. As much as I give you shit about it, like I think it's a good process to have,
All right, we can continue this one. I think this topic is something that we can expand on for episodes and episodes. But good chatting, bro.
Yeah,
and Valentine's, happy Valentine's. I hope you do something good, and
good
Vero doesn't cancel you.
We're gonna do something good. We're not gonna do any tasting menus or anything like that because we always fight on tasting menu night. So it's like,
no tasting menus.
No tasting menus, guys.
Well, that's it.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Conversations Pod. And as always, if you're digging it, like and subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. We are going to have many, many, many more conversations like this where I hope we talked about something of significance or at least made you laugh or
you.
maybe even made you mad. Hopefully not much more of that. But we're gonna have guests. We're gonna have a lot of great conversations here. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you follow us on social media. What are we? Conversation at Conversations
_pod
on
Instagram.
On Instagram. Do we have a TikTok?
Not yet. But we'll have a TikTok.
We will have a TikTok. It'll probably be the same thing.
Oh, we do have a TikTok. But
we have a TikTok.
I spelled the name wrong.
He spelled Conversations wrong, so we technically don't have it yet.
Yeah, but we have it. I gotta wait 1 month. It'll come through.
It'll be up in a month. We'll update our descriptions and all that. But most of all, we appreciate y'all.
Love you guys.
For listening and tuning. That's what I wanted to say. I combined them.
I like
looning. That. Happy Lunar New Year.
For the Lunar New Year.
That's what I wanted to. That's where it came from. But listening or tuning in, watching, we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.